Hello, this is just a quick introduction video. I was going to do this whilst I was walking along because I'm experimenting at the moment with this head cam that I'm using, but unfortunately it's a bit blowy, especially here on the sea wall, so I'm having to shield myself behind this pillbox here. So hopefully that will provide adequate windbreak. So even with using a muffler furry thing on the end of this microphone, it's still too blowy, so apologies for that. So, what is this channel about? So primarily, well, I suppose it's more or less all the same theme, to be quite honest with you, but I think primarily it's about survivalism and prepping. Whereas most channels will concentrate on how you should, fend for your family, how you can start fires, what food to store, that sort of thing. I will do that side of things, but primarily I want to concentrate on the why you should concentrate on prepping, or why you should consider survivalism as a legitimate practice. Now, I'm not going to be, some sort of Alex Jones figure and start running around like a headless chicken explaining how everyone's going to die. I think we've got a number of years still before things get really bad. I think we're in for, long story short, I think we're in for a long-term decline rather than some sort of, 5-minute collapse scenario, shit hit the fan scenario. But I think the skills that we can learn today are more important than necessarily the actual prepping itself. Not for ourselves necessarily, but for our children. Because I think ultimately it's going to be our children or grandchildren who are going to be the ones who suffer from the decline that is currently on its way. So, without being too depressive, obviously, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world necessarily, but I do think we're in for hardship, and I think that's the main thing that we should be trying to convince ourselves of, is that this current situation of relative comfort, of relative resources, massive resources, is going to be finite, and living with that reality is going to help you much more than anything else, to be honest with you. Because I don't think, the average person who would freak out if they couldn't get their daily Starbucks, or the Black Friday salespeople who will smash someone up to get the cheapest television that was 3 years out of date. What will they do when the last can of beans is on the shelf? And that's my point, is that you need to be prepared mentally more than anything else. But so aside from that, I also want to cover other things. So I also want to cover politics, which in a way is not really indistinguishable from the survival aspect. Unfortunately, politics is a way of life, is a reality in life. So that's just something that we have to suck up. I wish it wasn't, but that's just the reality. So personally, I do have sympathies with nationalism and sympathies with certain aspects of socialism. I'll just say that. But I don't actually think there is a political solution to what is happening in the world right now. And rather than try and get some sort of political equation going, I think it's just more important to concentrate on you, primarily you, and then work out in an onion level. So next is your family. You should try and concentrate on trying to convince your family and provide for your family. And then thirdly, try and get your community on board. And if you've got a community, or if you can form a community, then that's fantastic. And that's what we're going to need to survive in the future. But personally, I'm no longer a nationalist, because I don't feel that nationalism is particularly helpful. And I actually think a lot of the problems that we have in the world right now actually stem from nationalism to start with. But I do have sympathy with some aspects of nationalism anyway. And lastly, I like to cover the environment and ecology. Again, it's not really indistinguishable from the survival aspect and from the politics either. But survivalism goes hand in hand with the environment, I feel anyway. So I will be concentrating on wildlife videos, trying to get people encouraged to like wildlife and to take an interest in ecology and the environment in general. And I'm not some sort of global warming fanatic, but I'll be more concerned about things like pesticides and that sort of thing. So that's where I am anyway, and that's what the channel is primarily going to be about. Obviously, in addition to that, I'm probably going to end up doing the odd vlog, visiting a castle or something along those lines, and or cooking, anything like that. Obviously, survivalism will include camping and that sort of thing as well, eventually, when I get a chance. So there's a plethora of different topics, but they kind of all meld into one mega topic, which is excuse me, kind of surviving the future, really. But that's it in a nutshell. Thank you for watching, and hopefully if I don't have a coughing fit before I end this video, you'll subscribe and stick around for future videos. So thank you very much, and hopefully see you in the future. And behind me, if you can hear me, over the wind, is the remains of HMS Beagle, which was Charles Darwin's expedition ship. And apparently it spent its last days around here in Essex, patrolling, looking for smugglers. But apparently the wreckage is just on this river somewhere. But you probably can't hear what I'm saying anyway, so this is a pointless conversation. So, like a total chode, I also forgot to allude to one important aspect of this channel I completely forgot about, and that is paganism. And actually the name of the channel, Fimbulwinter, comes from the Norse term for a great winter that is a prelude to the end of, well, not the end of the world, that's a rash statement, the twilight of the gods, Ragnarok, in which obviously there is in my view, there is a cyclical pattern to reality. So Fimbulwinter is a time of hardship, and you have Ragnarok, and after Ragnarok you have the rebirth. So that's the whole point of the name anyway. But just having a half pint before I walk back. So now I really will end the video. So thank you for watching, and obviously if you want to subscribe, give it a subscribe.